parents put me up for adoption as a kid because I was a boy. Now they contacted me after 20 years, asking for money to fund my sister's education. I was 4 years old when I was told we were going for a special trip. I remember my mother's face. She wasn't crying. She was checking her lipstick in the rearview mirror. My father didn't look at me once. He just gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles were white. They dropped me off at a state-run facility with a backpack full of clothes that were already too small and a stuffed bear with a missing eye. The explanation came years later through a social worker's file I wasn't supposed to see. My parents didn't have financial instability. They didn't have personal crises. They had a preference. They wanted a girl. They wanted the perfect family aesthetic, and a rowdy, energetic son didn't fit the vision. When my mother got pregnant with my sister, I became a surplus asset. I was processed, filed away, and eventually adopted by a man who taught me that emotions are a liability and silence is a weapon. I grew up cold. I grew up focused. I built a life out of sight and steel. Now I'm 24. I'm a senior analyst for a private equity firm. I don't have a family. I have a net worth. 3 days ago, an unknown number called me. Leo, is that you? The voice was thin, shaky. I recognized the cadence immediately. It was my biological mother. This is Leo, I said. My voice was a flat line. No tremor. No heat. Oh, thank God. We've been looking for you for so long. No, you haven't, I replied. I've had the same name in a public LinkedIn profile for 3 years. You're calling me now because you've run out of options. Silence on the other end. Then a heavy sigh. Your father and I, we made a mistake back then. We were young, but we're family, Leo. Your sister Maya, she's brilliant. She got into a top-tier medical program abroad, but the tuition. The loans. How much? I interrupted. What? The number. Give it to me. It's $60,000 for the first 2 years. We thought since you're doing so well, I let the silence hang for a full 10 seconds. I wanted her to feel the weight of the air. Send me the bank details and the enrollment papers, I said. I'll handle it. She started sobbing. Thank you, Leo. I knew you were a good boy. We want to see you. Can we do dinner? I'll send the details for the meeting, I said and hung up. I met them yesterday at a high-end steakhouse. They looked old, gray. They looked like people who had spent 20 years trying to maintain an image they couldn't afford. Maya was there too. She looked like a younger version of the woman who abandoned me. They were all smiles. They tried to hug me. I stepped back, adjusting my cufflink. Let's talk business, I said. I placed a thick envelope on the table. My mother reached for it, her eyes gleaming with greed and relief. I looked into Maya's school, I said, sipping my water. Excellent program. She deserves a future. My father nodded vigorously. She's the light of our lives, Leo. I'm sure she is, I said, which is why I've already taken care of everything. My mother opened the envelope. Her face went pale. It wasn't a check. It was a stack of legal documents. What is this? She whispered. That, I said, leaning forward, is a formal notification of a private loan agreement. Since I am not your son, I am not a charity. I have purchased your outstanding mortgage from the secondary lender. I am now your landlord. The color drained from my father's face. You did what? And as for Maya's tuition, I continued, I've redirected the funds. I didn't pay the school. I bought the debt of the foster care agency that raised me. I'm making a sizable donation in your names to help boys who are surplus assets. Leo, please, my mother gasped. We're your parents. No, I said, my voice dropping to a whisper that cut like a razor. You're just two people who once took a special trip to a parking lot. You wanted a daughter. You got her. Now you can figure out how to pay for her life. I stood up. I hadn't touched my food. The eviction notice for the house is on the last page. You have 30 days. Since you're so fond of special trips, I suggest you start packing. Maya started to cry. My father started to shout. I didn't hear them. I was already walking toward the door. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just the quiet, clinical satisfaction of a closed file. I got into my car and didn't look back at the window. I had a meeting at 9, and unlike them, I never miss an appointment.